I told Doc this morning when I came down that for coffee and breakfast that Friday, the 22nd, I had been invited to go to Washington for a rally, the Washington Mall, on the anniversary of Roe versus Wade. And all the pro-life people have been urged to come to Washington if they can, to attend this rally and make ourselves heard before the abortion funding is signed into health care. Now, let's just think about if government funding is there to provide an abortion, the numbers of abortions are going to go up. Now they say 100,000 people have died in Haiti, possibly in the earthquake. Well, just imagine 1 million babies die in this country. More than 1 million have done ever since 1973, when Roe versus Wade came into existence. 1 million, just imagine, 1 million little corpses. Some would be very tiny, some a little bigger. But just imagine that many death in this country. And if we sign abortion funding into law, we're going to have many more than 1 million. Maybe 2 million a year, maybe more. We just don't know, but we know that if abortion is available with funding, in fact, across the country, we're getting the statistics that some of the abortion clinics have had to close in this multi-million dollar industry. Because probably bad economy, people couldn't afford abortions. Now to some people this is sad that women can't get abortions, but to other people this is a break for the children who would die. It's like abortion advocates are thinking primarily of the mother, the adult human being, the person is going to benefit. But does a mother really benefit when her instinct to protect the fetus is interfered with? When she's told that it's all right not to protect the fetus? And this all starts too with the sexual revolution, where women were fed the idea that we all have the right to sex anytime, but we don't want to be punished for the sexual revolution by unwanted pregnancy. That would spoil everything. And also, what about discipline about our sexual actions? Well, that would possibly spoil the fun. Hence, abortion. Any kind of means to do away with the consequences of our own actions. So I'm thinking, why? Why do people buy this? Why do they allow themselves to be persuaded? And I think a lot of it lies in the idea that we don't believe in our immortality. We don't believe that we have a spirit. And we don't believe that that spirit will survive death. If you take away that, it's like, well, we all die, so... And we know that with murder, the child or the person who's murdered pays a tremendous price. They pay with their life. And most of the time, these victims are entirely innocent. Just like the quake killed old and young alike, took them in an instant, long before they might have expected to die. So what happens here? I think that people just have a weak belief in, we call God, which to me can be the feeling of a higher power that we can call on. It's something that to me has always been in existence. It is the life force. And when the soul, when the spirit comes into the body or is created here on earth, that spirit has the capacity to leave the body. To me, there's another being inside of us that has the capacity to leave the body. And it doesn't matter how many times we hear instances, people having experienced this, leaving their bodies in near-death experiences, being reunited with loved ones for momentarily until they return to their bodies, or going down a tunnel, all kinds of experiences. I myself have had near-death experiences. And like on one near-death experience, I had the sensation of traveling thousands of miles an hour toward what I knew was heaven. And I was ecstatic. I thought I was going to a beautiful place, and I had all these emotions about it. And then the next moment I felt my throat soar back into my body again. I had gone into shock when I was 15 years old with an experimental tonsillectomy. And I knew then that this was probably the moment when I started turning blue, and my mother had to get the oxygen on me. She was sitting by my bed. And this is only one of a number of near-death experiences. And every time, even in dreams or any time I've ever had any kind of death experience, there's always this sensation of a soul leaving the body, going up, and the body turns into something irrelevant, like an old piece of driftwood. I had that feeling once. The body just didn't matter anymore. And so I do think that when people aren't thinking about it with very much depth, they question even the existence of a higher power, a place we go to. And that is what causes them to accept solutions like abortion, because they don't believe that these little children are going to another existence, that they will face these little children in another existence. They don't die any more than any other little child dies who's killed. They will go on developing, and then the people and think how hard it's going to be to answer that child as to why you had to do this. All the reasons that you might have had to have an abortion are not going to feel too strong in the face of that.